So, I popped into High House Insurance to see if they could quote for my house insurance rather than using the internet. High House got a great deal. So to celebrate, I bought a posh hairdo. It made me look beautiful, gorgeous enough to become a highly paid model. I then won Celebrity Big Brother. I had an affair with an MP. Now I'm promoting a doll of me that says, "Cool blimey, you're well fit."
Happy things happen when you talk face-to-face with High House Insurance. See if we can beat your home insurance quote from the internet. Find us on the High Street, Selsey, or call 606 552.
Thea and Hugh Graham for Selsey Internet Radio, and we've got Mike Fletcher from Landlink Estates,
yes,
who's going to talk to us about the Park Farm development. Mike, there's been a huge outcry about the fact that hardly anybody in the village knew of your presentation.
Okay, we did advertise in the paper, and I did speak to the plant people who are dealing with that, and they probably didn't know which best paper to best put it in. So we're holding another one on Saturday the 14th at the Selsey Centre, because everybody said, well, it's a weekday thing. But we did have, so that's going to be on the 14th in the Selsey Centre, 10 to 4. But on the Tuesday last week when we did have one, we had over 260 people come along, which isn't bad for a wet Tuesday afternoon.
That's true.
It's not. I went along,
yes,
and it was very interesting. The gentlemen who were there were very helpful. However, there are still queries that
Yes.
people have. One of the biggest ones that I've been asked to ask you was, why have this on a Saturday? Because the shopkeepers are busy selling, particularly now with the caravanners, and yet you're doing this on a Saturday when it'll be very difficult for them to come.
Because we were asked to do it on a Saturday.
I see. Who by?
By all the people that came along and said, this is being held in the week. People are all work. Had the one in the week, and we had an awful lot of people come along, and so we're having one at the weekend. We'll have another one if we have to, and if someone says when they want it, that's fine. But it doesn't stop people writing to me and saying what they want and saying what they feel. They can do this anytime they like, and they can ask me for information, and I will give it to them. I will correspond with them personally.
Where information how to write to you and where?
It's on the bits of paper that we hand out, and we've got an email address which is info@landlinkestates.co.uk, or they can just send me an email, which is Michael Fletcher, all one word, at landlinkestates.co.uk.
That one's nice and simple.
Yes.
Right. Okay, my other question is, the road.
Yes.
It's obviously a problem. You live fairly locally, so you've experienced
I live right on it in Sidlesham.
Yes, I know. So what are they going to do about the road? Because we're going to have how many houses?
157.
And an Asda. Now there'll be
Yes.
an awful lot of traffic coming in and going out. But supposing St Richard's, you need to get there. I've been in an accident. Well, I haven't been in it, but when there's been an accident, and the traffic just comes to a standstill. There is Donington Road, but even then, it is a real problem. Is anything going to be done?
This is a matter for highways and the West Sussex County Council. The scheme's going to generate under Section 106 and 278, which is a law that says when you develop things, you have to pay for infrastructure, which includes health, police, schools, highways, etc. And this scheme is basically going to be taxed by those levies, and those monies will go to the various bodies. And we will try our best in negotiating those agreements to make sure that that money gets controlled and diverted into the direction of Selsey. But at the end of the day, it's up to Selsey and their representatives to make sure and hold accountable those bodies for that money, because they know how much it will be, and it's not a shy sum. And so if they want to deal with, get those authorities to deal with those things, so the only people that have the power to do it, I cannot design a new highway into my scheme. I can't do anything about it. But what we have done, we've already, as a company, we've already been discussing various highways issues with West Sussex, Sustrans, etc., on cycle routes and minor road improvements, and we said, here's the land to be able to do these things, but we as a company cannot engineer it, we cannot plan it and make it happen. That has to be done by the Highways Authority. And so we are trying our best to get all those things done. We'd love to fix Ferryban, but then again, a lot of I've mentioned this to one or two people, and there's some people who don't even want me to do that. And
Very true, isn't it, Michael? There are some people in this village who won't allow any improvement or any
change,
modernisation to take place.
Well, they're allowed to hold a view, and that's what we want people to. We want to air all views. And because we have views that are over my dead body, which is fine, and people say it's not enough, we need more things to, make it more modern, etc. And so there's all sorts of views in between, and no two views are the same.
So the three objections which most people in this village will come up with are, first of all, the condition of the 2145. Mm-hmm. Then they talk about drainage.
Yes.
And then they talk about flooding.
Yes.
So how are you dealing with the risk of flooding? Because Park Farm is relatively high ground, so the fear is the water will drain down the drift road.
It's a pretty high piece of ground, and it's naturally percolating. But we've had it flood engineered close to death by someone who's very, very painstaking, not painful, about their approach to these things. And there's two fields, effectively, what we call show house, which already has the permission for 55 houses, which we want to improve into a better scheme rather than just do lumps of houses, and rush field, which is the bit which gets a bit soggy down one end off towards Manor Road. Now, we've engineered flood into, we've got attenuation areas, and we've got ditching, we've got all sorts of pipe work, and the field's very well drained anyway. But that's not enough. We've got a big scheme in there that has to satisfy Chichester, who are going to scrutinise it within an inch of its life. In addition to that, we are spending an awful lot of money on a new drainage system, which will improve the whole thing. Southern Water have described what that must be, together with our own drainage engineers. So as far as our scheme is concerned, we'll have very, very, very good drainage.
Yeah. I've lived in this village since 1970, and ever since I lived there, there's been moaned from the people of Mansfield Place that in times of great rainfall, there's raw sewage.
Yes.
And that's still happening. So
that's because there's a tidal backwash. And again, how do you let Southern Water and everybody get away with it? And this is the problem, and one of those things that I've noticed about Selsey, that everybody goes, well, that's the way it is, and it's painful, but nothing is happening about it, nothing's being done about it, and a lot of people say, we don't want this, we don't want that, but they're not actually saying, we want to do something about the inherent problems we've got, because we will deal with the drainage as affects us, and we will have a lovely new sparkling sewer. And those people who don't touch on that will be left with raw sewage floating around. So, but again, even though we're doing all that, we're paying all these levies, so they will have the ability and timing to knock on the door of Southern Water and say, hang on, these guys up the road just give you an awful lot of money. Can you come and spend it on us, please? And they will be hard pushed not to go, actually, we are supposed to spend it where it comes from.
Yeah.
They really should, because I live near the pond. Now, when they did the last house building, they extended the pond, and that has helped a lot with the sea coming back in. However, my garden, an engineer had lived there while I was there, and he had actually done a drain. It went underneath his thing into the pond, so that when it rains, the water runs out of our garden into the pond. But that's brilliant. It really is time for that, though, because the extended pond isn't now coping.
Yeah, but we don't have the power to fix all the problems. We're doing a scheme, but we can help direct it as far as the agreements we do, and also to say to these authorities, look, you can't be complacent about what's going on in the whole of Selsey, because there are serious improvements that need to be done, and the only way they'll ever get done is if there's money about, the town progresses, town village, of whatever how you want to express it, progresses, and not excessively, but in a sensible, managed way which fits expectations, requirements, and needs.
So
So
the town will have a sum of money from your development,
Yes.
which we will know the amount of.
Yes.
And it's up to us then to chase the appropriate authorities to make quite sure
We will do our best.
it's spent on Selsey.
We will do our best to direct that and make it conditional. But once we've handed that money over, it's in the hands of authorities and politicians. So,
Michael, the village rumour is that the supermarket is going to be Asda. Is that true?
it's true, yes. I've told everybody that. Yes.
Okay, fine. Why Asda?
Because, firstly, they would do the petrol filling station, which is one of the things which we were told that Selsey wanted.
That's brilliant, because when I first came to live in Selsey in 1970, there were 6 filling stations.
Yes, now it's none. Yeah. The nearest one's in Selsey.
Yeah.
And so that's, we've designed the scheme with the neighbourhood planning group, following the show house appeal, what we call show house, where we have our 50 houses, which is a consent that I will have to return to if this situation, that the scheme doesn't get legs, because I've got it commercially and I have to do it. I don't want to do that scheme because all it is a block of housing. That's not the way to develop a town. You've got to put the facilities in, the clinic, we're talking with an NHS dental provider at the moment. So the current dentist, single, doesn't do NHS anymore. Stop doing it. So it'd be nice to get that back into the town. It makes sense. And so we've designed it very carefully. We've consulted with the NPG, we've consulted with Chichester, and I've asked people what they want to see, and I've had some interesting ideas.
Okay.
I'm not going to say some of them because you might get worried. But I'm not doing those things.
Can I just say something that really I've heard from so many of the younger people? What about the schools where they have waiting lists already, and for the nurseries for the children?
Yeah.
The 150 houses, you're going to have a lot
Well,
of people.
again, apart from the levies, and they are quite substantial levies, will go to education, police, and health. Apart from my own efforts to get the health care facility in, that facility is going to be quite large, not excessive, but it's certainly going to be probably too big just for a dental clinic.
Yeah.
So I've said to people, look, you've got the opportunity to have space, because that sort of use, clinic, nursery, that sort of thing, it's all up for grabs.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to do a nursery, there's the space to do it. It's there. And apart from the levies, which are going to go to the Regional Health Authority, they will get swallowed up by St Richard's unless someone says, we want a bigger surgery here. Because the problem is, and the fact that you've got more people means there's a greater budget for Selsey because the money goes per capita. Same with education, the money goes per capita. So when you've got this number of people living in the town, number of households living in the town, and there's council tax being collected, all those sorts of levies, and you've got the police bit in that, then you can say, hang on, you're collecting this money, come and spend it here. And hold them to account on it. But we can't do that. We can help with doing it, and we can try and get it directed. But that's a political matter, and that's got to be done locally.
Chichester, or whoever has the money, really is down to them to build another school. Sure.
They've got to, but it's a regional...
Or extend the existing schools.
It's the local education authority will have to ultimately decide that and apply the budgets. But it's like doctors. NHS will give a budget to a surgery. If they gave them £1 million, they could employ, in theory, as I believe it happens, you could employ 2 doctors and pay them £500,000 each, or you could employ 10 doctors and pay them £100,000 each. Do that. It's up to the health authority, and it's up to the surgery management itself. Nobody really controls that, but it's up to the community to hold those people accountable and say, sorry, the service you're doing isn't good enough. It's not what we want.
But you still got the problem with the schools.
Yes.
Okay, so
we're giving money to
money
will go to the LEA as well.
Yes, but if this doesn't happen, you've got all those children having to travel to other schools, like Northumberland and places. The road, again, it rears its head on the road. I know it's that you're giving the money.
Yes.
But it needs much more of a push to get that money back.
Yes.
That has to come from the town, doesn't it?
Yeah. We've got to say,
what you want. Town council.
Where you want it.
If they are paying the money, then it's up to the town to make sure the money's spent where it's needed. Surely.
Yes,
because
you're
certain
right, but
we're
people
very
don't, do they?
we're very likely giving enough money to extend a school, and but if there's space to do it and the site's right, so they've got all those practicalities considered. But if their children are there, they've got the budget to give them schooling, and so. If they came to me and said we want some ground to build a school on, I'd be delighted, and that would be fantastic. But I can't make them build a school anywhere. They have the sole power.
One of the things I'd like to you to comment on, some of the shopkeepers are worried sick about Asda. Do you think that's right for them to worry, or do you think Asda will bring money into the town?
I think it's going to bring an awful lot of money to the town, and they are going to be amazed by the transformation, the regenerative effect of this, that they aren't going to be able to keep up with it. But because it's what happens in reality. A lot of people said, well, give me a list of towns where this has happened. And I give them a list of towns where it's happened with alacrity. It's very easy. But I would actually say, show me where it hasn't happened. Because look at the trades in Selsey, surf shop, stationers, which sells all the print cartridges, estate agents, solicitors, curry house, Chinese takeaway, another curry house, and all those things are not going to be affected by Asda. There's a few that may possibly be, but people who shop in family butchers do not buy meat in Asda. They never will, and in fact, we're getting people, rather than travel to Chichester, do their family shop, they're going to spend the money locally. They aren't going to say, I've just done my shopping in Asda, I need to get my hair cut, I'm going to drive all the way to Chichester. It doesn't work like that. So I spend more money, exactly. I go do a shopping and think, right, I need a haircut, I look like a sheep. So get it done, and I go to the nearest one, and that's what most people do.
If you were to give us an approximate idea of the size of Asda, the Asda that's going to be built in Selsey will be comparable to Asda where?
I would say it's more going to be about the same size as the Waitrose in Chichester. It's not going to be a great, big, huge, rambling one with massive range. It's going to be roughly about twice the size of the Budgeons. It's going to have a full range in it, decent range in it, but it's not going to have like a garden centre or anything like that. It is about the same size as the Waitrose in Chichester. It's 20,000 square feet.
I think people must go to this presentation. They can ask the questions, and this is what it's for, isn't it? Right, so let's all turn up there.
Let's close it, Michael. The presentation is on June the
14th.
And it's at the Selsey Centre?
Yes.
And it's from 10 until 4?
Yes.
And will it be a continuous presentation, or is it just an opportunity for people to ask any questions they like?
They can come and ask any questions they like, and ask for any information they like, and I'll do my very best to give it to them there and then, or contact them personally and give it to them. And anybody who we're asking people to give their views on it, all those forms will be scanned in and given to the NPG and to everybody, so that everybody knows exactly what's been said.
And if there's a need for another presentation, will you hold one?
I will do my best to hold one if I'm on holiday. I've got a holiday after that, but I will do my best to get a presentation done. If there's, or they can actually, I will hold a meeting. If there's a specific bunch of people who want to come, retailers, come to my office and we'll have a day for them there.
Brilliant.
That's fine.
That's ideal.
Michael, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.